Hi there, Mark here again. Welcome to part 3 of my TT02 Type-S chassis build. I've got Rob on the camera.
Hiya.
And we've got up to step 20, which is building the shocks. We're opening parts bag C, and I've already laid out the parts that we need here for the shock build. You've got your BC10s, which are your E-clips. Got to make sure I don't lose any of those.
Yes, because you didn't get any spares.
There were no spares. You normally get
surprise.
Yeah, you normally get 1 or 2 spare, but anyway, you need these rods, which is BC15 for your piston rod. You need your O-rings, your caps for sealing, and then those are the parts you get off these trees here. There's one for each shock. We've got some spare pistons or valves. It does say in this to use the one with the 1 hole, so we'll go with that. And I've chosen the longer of the bottom connectors because obviously I want a bit more ground clearance for running off-road. We'll see how it goes, and let's get building the first one. So the first thing we're going to do is to put the circlip on and fit the valve or piston, whichever you want to call it. So let's get it somewhere near. Let's hope it doesn't go flying off. It just clicks in. You heard it click there. It should spin quite freely. Shouldn't be binding at all. So that's fitted okay. Then we need to get our piston valve. What does it call it? It calls it. It doesn't call it anything, does it? Just calls it a V8.
Yeah.
In there. It's both of the E-clips or C-clips are spinning around, so that's that bit done. We'll get the little body. These are, by the way, the short CVA, I think they're called super short, this one, isn't it, Rob?
Yeah, super mini.
Super minis, yeah. So, and I've got a bit of a tip here from Rob. What's this stuff, mate?
That's Team Associated, is it? I can't remember the company.
It says factory team.
Green slime. And my good mate, poor man, RC, put me onto this. You use it to seal the O-rings, and apparently, yeah, use this and they don't leak.
So how am I going to do that then, Rob? Do you put it in afterwards, before? What do you...
He didn't say. I put it in before. Same, you know where it says here, down here, where it's showing you to lubricate them?
Yeah, yeah.
Do the same, but use the green slime. And apparently you hardly need it, if you know what I mean. So he was saying.
Just put a little bit in there, shall I?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a tiny bit. Put the other one in, I'll do the same to that. Might be able to let us know. I don't know if I'm putting too much or not enough.
Yeah.
Well,
Please call mine.
Yeah. First time for everything. Well, there you go. There's a little bit on there. I think I'm not going to go mad. And then we get the bottom cap. Screw that on. Don't screw it on all the way because we need to push this through now. It's saying to lubricate this to go through. So I'm going to use the damper oil for that. This is the 900 hard damper oil. Let's just put a little bit on there. And we'll push it through. Okay, and then I can do that a bit more. Okay, so that's step 20. One off. I'm not going to do all 4 on camera because we'll be here forever. On to step 21, which is I need to put the oil in. Just gradually fill it up, work the piston up and down. See the bubbles coming up there, Rob?
Yep.
You can hear the air. wait for the bubbles to come to the surface before we put the top seal on. So I'll just put this in this little pot that Rob's built, some holes in just to hold them in place so they don't fall over, and I'll get on with the rest of them and be back in a bit. So I'm going to do the last shot now. Just finish it off. I'm going to just top it right up with the oil and put your cap on. Get a bit of overflow, at least we know it's full to the top. Just wipe the excess off and screw on your top cap. This is where we can use the opposites to tighten both up at once. Make sure both the top and bottom cap are nice and tight. And after a bit of investigation, having used the longer bottoms, I'm going to go with the short shock bottoms for the back, and I'll explain that in a second when I've just got this one nipped up. Right, put the spring on, and bottom clip, and what we find is we've got rather a lot of movement. Yeah, it does say in the manual that you can use these for the damper tension adjustment. I don't think we're going to adjust any tension with that, do you, Rob?
No.
I'm just going to stop that movement. So what I've done is on this one, okay, it's going to go on the front with the long bottom, so I need to try that on the chassis. See, this suspension arm won't go down any further because of the C-hub there catching on the suspension, which we've adjusted. But if I put this shock in, you'll see that that gap is closed up, so I actually don't need the pre-tensioners. So I'm just going to fit that on now. Easier said than done sometimes. Give it a good push. You can use a pair of pliers to do this if you find there's too much tension. Okay, so with no pre-tensioners now, that's on full extension and we've got no movement in the spring, so yeah, I'm quite happy with that. With the backs, what we found was the only thing limiting the movement downwards of the suspension is the dog bone and the cups. That's what's stopping that from going down. So with the long bottoms on, it was basically all the way extended, and I'm not happy with that catching. We're probably going to lose a drive shaft like that, aren't we, Rob?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do, as I say, I've put the shorter one on the back shock, the shorter shock bottom. So I do need to put a couple of clips in there. It's stopping that moving up or down. If that was loose, Rob, the bottom clip is prone to come out, isn't it?
It is.
And you'll lose that. So there's the shorter one. What I've also done, I'm glad I've changed these arms round. They've got the 3 holes. I've moved the ball end to the one on the inside, and that kind of matches up pretty much with what we want for the length of the shock to limit that travel. So I'll just try and pop it on. So now you can see the suspension's extended. These arms are dropping down, but we're not putting too much of an angle on that drive shaft. So I'm happy with that at the back, and it looks, I don't know if you can see that on the camera there. If you look at the extension we've got on the suspension, it's about the same front and back now. So I'm quite happy with that. So if you're going to try and run it off-road like me, have a go at those settings. We can always fine-tune it later. Again, we can move the ball and we can move the top mounts front and back to fine-tune that, but I think that's a good starting point. So basically that's to the end of step 23. We're going to go on to step 24 now. Okay, so step 24 is attaching the steering linkage. Before we go into that, we've just finished looking at the shocks. I thought I'd just show you, this is the standard shock that you get with the TT02 standard kit. I don't think, as you probably agree with me after looking at this, you can really call this a shock absorber. Basically it's 2 bits of plastic, you push it in, you turn it round, and oh look, there's your shock absorber. That is absorbing no shocks, is it? So
yeah.
Your standard kit is basically a pogo stick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Spring. So if you don't know what the standard ones look like, that's what they're like, and that's why you'll be throwing those in the bin if you do get the standard kit. Anyway, so on with step 24. I've already made up the steering linkages here, the steering rods. You just need to screw these ball ends on. Remember that one's a left-handed thread and one's a right-handed thread on these turnbuckles, so you will be doing one. It will feel like you're putting it on,
yeah,
undoing it to do it up, but yeah, so just copy the diagram there, get them the right length. I've already put the ball connectors, the ball joints, into this part A5 and the A3s. Be careful with this. The way to know which way around this should go is there's a little web, can you see that there? There's a web there and it's showing it pointing backwards and at the top. Again, so put your ball joint on the opposite end to that, on the top, on both of them. So now we need to fit this with these step screws. You've got an 18mm, 2 18mm and a 14mm. So they mount onto these holes here. So what we'll start with is we'll put this one on first. I think I'll put it onto the car. So we've got, is it the longer? Yeah. The 18mm longer screw through there. You need a washer underneath. This is, and that goes into that hole there. Okay, and then I've got the bridge part that strangely doesn't have any washers in it. I don't understand why that is.
Mm.
And that's going to screw into these 2 pieces I've just fitted. Okay, so that's your steering bridge. So once that's fitted, you just get your adjustable arms, clip those into place. So both sides are the same. There we go. And there's our steering. Looks like I might be adjusting these a little bit because I like a little bit of towing on the front normally. That looks quite straight, doesn't it, Rob?
Yeah.
So with the setup as in the manual, this is an 8.5mm gap it says, I've set to. It does give you pretty neutral steering, I think, by the look of that. So that's the end of step 24. On to step 25, which is the servo and the servo saver. So the first thing you need to do is to connect all your electronics up, power it up, and then set your transmitter in neutral. Give it a turn left and right, make sure everything's working, and then leave it in the central position. So we just now power that off and disconnect it again for now, and we'll start making up the high torque servo saver. Okay, so the high torque servo saver, we got these parts, Q5, Q4, and you need the one that fits yours, don't you?
Yep.
So the bottom piece that fits on, you get the 2 in the kit. One will fit your servo. I've got mine sorted here. Into this we need these 2 gold kind of coloured metal clips. This is going to be a hell of a lot stronger than the plastic, isn't it, Rob?
Yeah.
Well, after recovering it from flying across the room, we finally found it again. I had to really force it on with this little pair of pliers. It is really hard work to get that on. You've got to make sure as well that there's an equal gap, you can see, on top of the other one, because the part that's going on top of that has got like a key there that's going to fit each of the springs. So let's try and get the last one on. Hopefully this one's a bit bigger, but as I say, it's quite hard work getting the other ones on, that's for sure. Oh, that's not too bad. That's gone on a bit easier. Now I need to try and centre that as well. Yep, it's looking somewhere near. So, and then get the other part. And it should slot in, shouldn't it? There we go. That's your high torque servo saver. So the last piece goes on the top, and then we fit that onto the servo as according to the diagram, as close to upright as you can get. You can never get it exactly, can you, Rob?
No, I've never.
But you'll feel the spline that it's going on to. So I think that's the nearest to straight up, isn't it, Rob?
Yep.
And give that a good push on. And you need to use whichever screw is appropriate for your servo. You get a selection of them, don't you?
You do.
In the kit. This is the closest for mine, so I'm just going to screw that in, and that's the servo saver fitted. So step 26, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fit the servo in. What I've done is I've put these posts on, A12s, just 2 screws through there with a washer. I've put on the ball connector, which goes in the middle of the 3 holes. There's just 1 screw in the ball connector. Then that fits onto these 2 screws there. And then we've got the other arm, which I've made up here, which says 11 to 13. I've just done it to the diagram. I'm going to click that onto those 2. And it says for step 27, I'm going to use double-sided tape. I'm going to put in my receiver and my ESC. So I'll see you in a bit. So that's all the electronics fitted in there. Stuck the TT02 down the bottom. I've got my receiver on top of the servo. The servo has got these 2 screws holding it in there. Tried to tidy these up with a couple of ties. It's a bit of a squeeze, but they're in. So that's that, ready to go. We're nearly finished now. So step 28 is apply the tyres and the foams. The foams were in the tyres. I've put them onto the wheels, and I don't know if there's anyone out there can give me any tips on this, but I've tried to get this to stay in the rim properly, and it does seem quite tricky. It's nice to put some glue on, but at the moment I'm going to leave it as they are. I'm not going to do a Nordic RC Visions and spray a bit of CA glue all over the place. Sorry Michael, I'm joking, and I don't think I'll be able to do it any better than him, but I'll leave them as they are because, as we said, rally car wise, I've got this spare set of rally blocks on some just generic black wheels. They are slightly taller. These are I think these Chinese copies of the Tamiya rally blocks, and if you know the rally blocks, you'll see they're not actually that soft, not as soft as these anyway, and these do come with the foams in. So we'll give these a go. I'll put those on. I won't glue them, we'll try it first. So step 29, we have to put the body posts on, which I've cut out there. They go into those carbon shock towers, or what's it called, fibre reinforced plastic. We've got the wheel bearings, which are the BB9s, 1050s. We need to go in there. We need to put through the BA7, which is the small shaft, just to go through the hole. And then we've got these nice alloy 12mm hexes. Pop the wheel on. And the flanged lock nut. So there's that. We've got this being the front. We've got the short posts, the one without the bending. They clip into there, and there's a 10mm screw. Find the screwdriver. So that, and then the rear ones go like so. this is just push in. Okay, so I'll just get on, I'll put all the rest of the screws in the post and put the wheels on. Back in a sec. So there she is, one finished TT02 Type-S. So I've put all the posts on, fit all the wheels and the hex drives. All you need to do is push your urethane bumper over those holes, just do these 2 screws with the cover, and that's the end of the build. Yeah, I'm really pleased with it. It's looking quite good. I think the mods I've done for the suspension should help out with the ground clearance. We'll check that in a second. What I'm going to just do now is just quickly switch it on and see if everything's okay. Just give it a bit of forward throttle. Yay! Bits of dirt flying out from my used tyres. So yeah. Reverse. Bit of steering. Yeah, that all seems to be fine. I'm happy with that. There we go. So let's just have a look at the ground clearance then, Rob.
Yep.
See what we think with those little changes. As I can get my hand clearly underneath anyway, so that's better than before. We got there, Rob. 22, 24, something like that there.
Yeah, something like that.
That's the bottom there. So, and you say these marks are your TT02?
They are, but I did mine at the front.
Okay, so let's have a look at that. So is that onto the...
Yeah, well I took the sponge off.
Right. Well, we're looking somewhere...
But you're looking close, yeah?
Yeah, so that is quite a big difference then, and that's just with the little changes we made to those suspension arms, the shock points, the longer shock bottoms, and obviously these are slightly higher profile tyres than the standard road tyres. Anyway, I'm happy with that. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and hopefully you'll join us on the body show, which is going to be the Lancer WRX. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.